Sleeper Dude here. I'm making this video to give you guys a guide of what to look for to tell if a car has been wrecked before. I have 20 years experience as an auto body technician in the collision industry, and over those years I've learned a lot of things on what to look for. So if you are looking for a car to buy, this video is going to give you a lot of tips you might could use to figure out if the car has been wrecked before or if it hasn't. So I hope it is helpful to you. And here we go. Right here we're showing the difference in seam sealer. On this side you can see the seam sealer has been redone. This is the factory seam sealer line here. So this car's had a quarter panel put in it, and you can see how the seam sealer is different. And that is a dead giveaway that the car has had a quarter panel put in it. Also, right through here is where they actually cut quarter panels usually, and you'll see if you pull the weather strip back that there's no spot welds in the area where they cut the quarter panel. And if they've MIG welded the whole quarter panel in, there won't be any spot welds at all down through there. This is a quarter panel that's been repaired. You can see the damage on the lip. A lot of times people don't fix inside the lip. They get in a hurry, and you can kind of see the slag there from where they put Bondo on the outside of the car, and they've left that on the edge. Here's an example of bad gaps on a car. You can see the trunk is sitting up. The gap's too wide there, too narrow at the back. The trunk sticks out. So if you ever have bad gaps like that, there are certain cheap cars that kind of have not the greatest gaps from the factory, but they're not going to have a gap this bad from the factory usually. So you always want to look at your gaps between your fenders and between your quarter panels. You see the paint line there around the bolt. That means that bolt's been removed and the trunk has been adjusted. Usually it'll break the paint off the bolt head, so that's something else to look for. Here's a car that's been on the frame rack and been clamped down. You can see where it messed up the coating on the pinch welds on the bottom of the car, so you should always look under the car. Here's a full frame truck with the same issue. It has clamp marks where the truck's been in the clamps being pulled on the frame rack. So the full frame will look a little bit different. This car has 3 or 4 different style clips holding the sight shield on underneath the hood. And from the factory, obviously, it would have all the same clips. So that's another dead giveaway. If you open the hood and see, the clips don't match, you always want to look at clips and bolt heads. Here's some overspray in the door jamb. A lot of times people won't tape up inside the door jamb when they're painting the car. It blows paint in there on that rubber. So look in the door jamb, see if there's any overspray there. Here, this one's kind of hard to see, but there's sand scratch swelling underneath the paint. You can see little sand scratches in there from where the primer and filler eventually shrinks up, and it leaves the sand scratch marks where it's been repaired before, a dent's been repaired. So it's kind of hard to tell, but just keep looking. You might see the sand scratches there in this door. So that's something else to look for. Here you go. You're looking at some kind of rough bodywork here, and you see a run in the clear coat as well. Right here, we've got a hood that has some really bad bodywork in it that's really wavy, and there's also like it has some sort of reaction where it's got like these little fisheye marks in the paint. So you want to look for that too. Get down in the light and move back and forth where you can see the dents in the car that have been repaired. Here's an example of bad color match. Usually you see this on the side of the car. It's really obvious, but there's a hood defender that doesn't really match. Right here we have another example of a bad color match on hood defender. This one's really obvious, so most people would catch this anyway, but you always want to make sure that every panel matches the other panel, because sometimes they don't match after they've been repainted at all. This is another example of a bad color match, and that's going to be pretty obvious to most people. Here's a factory stamping mark in a Mopar fender. Most vehicles have some sort of stamping mark or a VIN number sticker. So if it doesn't have this, or if it has maybe some sort of Chinese markings in the fender or some other body panel, it's probably an aftermarket part. Here's a Ford headlight, and you can see that it says Ford inside the headlight. And there's a lot of headlights that say things like this, or tail lights. Sometimes bumpers have the name of the manufacturer in them, and that's not able to be reproduced by aftermarket company. So here is stickers on the bottom of the hood. A lot of times shops will not put the stickers back on after they've replaced the hood. Here's some on a side shield as well, so always look for the stickers. And I hope you guys like this video. See ya.